Blackwood is a setting for young people at risk between the ages of 12 to 16. And by at risk, we mean at risk of anything. So we deal with anorexics and kids who've been abused sexually and physically, kids that have lost their way, perhaps kids that have undiagnosed illness, kids that fall through the cracks of education. So Blackwood's been developed for those kids to have them for 6 months. They don't live with us, thank goodness, but they're with us for 6 hours a day. And they have their goals, and we forge them into a functioning team. And then once their goals are set and we think we've got them up and running again, we integrate them back into school. So it's early intervention. It's probably one of the most highly recognised settings for young people at risk in Australia. And my husband and I and a friend started it. We were all teachers, and we were losing kids, really, really intelligent underachievers that one day were at school, the next day were gone. And we decided to put our hands up and find answers, because no one was finding answers for these kids. They were slipping away, and everybody was complaining about the fact, and still are, that we're losing very, very valuable youth to the community. So we started Blackwood with $30,000, an empty school, no chairs, no tables, no water tank, 17 years ago, and probably through corporate sponsorship, certainly not our encouragement from our employer, we've kept going and actually built a setting of excellence. We select our students from probably a range of 15 different secondary schools, so we probably cover about 200 kilometres. They'll come in and we forge them into a team, very, very disciplined place. So there's education, there's health issues, and of course we take them on a wilderness camp, which is one of our major change catalysts. Blackwood's main area of funding circulates around the education department, so our wages are all paid for. But you can fund a place like ours and just fund wages and it becomes mediocre. And places like ours tend to die out from isolation and poor funding after about 3 to 5 years traditionally. So when we realised we were going to die out through lack of encouragement, I guess, and belief in what we were doing, we sought corporate sponsorship. Allens, Arthur and Robinson have been with us for 7 years. And initially they started sponsoring our camp. So 260 students have been assisted to go on our wilderness camp. A wilderness camp is considered to be one of the longest running and most highly regarded wilderness camps for young people in Australia. And it is a change catalyst. And so what Allens, Arthur and Robinson have done is they've had a direct hand in redirecting these kids onto another life pathway through that camp. And then they come in and they talk to us about what we needed. And what we wanted to explore was health and diet and the physicality of the mental illnesses that our young people are experiencing. So they've helped us develop a gym and a kitchen and put our health section together so that we can prove that really simple things like diet, physical, being fit and getting out physically can actually impact on depression before drugs, that these kids can feel better and get up and motivated and moving. So what they've allowed us to do is to do our job better than what we could normally do. And I guess we'll be forever grateful for that, because until Allens, Arthur and Robinson stepped in, we could only get to one level. And when we jumped up and down about our funding and saying we can do more, we can find more answers for these kids, our boss said, you need to drop back your expectations. What corporate funding meant to us, and Allens, Arthur and Robinson in particular, was that they said, don't drop back your expectations, find out what you can find out. So they've allowed us to build things that will allow us to extend and switch kids' brains on and go beyond what normal funding can do to prove to people what theories work and what theories don't. Oh, we've got an extension of what we've been doing, which has been great. Because they've been with us for 7 years, we've been able to build on to things that they've already done. So not only are they sponsoring kids again, a group to go on camp and assisting us with that, they're actually assisting us with building some showers that are going with our gym, because we tried to cope with not many showers, but of course we're all feral smelling little beasties. And of course hygiene is part of what these kids need to know, very practical life skills stuff. So we're doing the hygiene part of our program at the moment, and we're also sending kids off on our major change catalyst.